Who was the first Extreme Championship Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion? That was Shane Douglas, when he cuts the promo holding the NWA title belt and talks about the Ric Flairs and the Barry Windhams and the Harley Races, and they can all kiss my ass, and throws the belt down. Who was the last champion of the independent ECW? That was Rhino, with a Y and not an I. Well, no, actually, no, it's with a Y in W. Whatever, Rhino. Who were the final ECW Tag Team Champions? That was Danny Doring and Roadkill. And if any one of those guys has got that right, I'd be surprised. Only 2 men ever held the Fuck the World Championship. Who were they? It was Taz. It was Taz's belt. He introduced it because he couldn't get a title shot with Shane Douglas, if I remember rightly. And the only person he ever lost it to was Sabu. Only one winner of the original ECW World title won WWE's version of the belt. Who was it? It was Tommy Dreamer, which was remarkable in that Tommy Dreamer never wanted to win the original ECW title. He sort of won it out of necessity because there was no one else there to really hold on to it after so many people left for WWE and WCW in 2001. And it's also kind of surprising that he won it later on in WWE, given that... how can I best describe Tommy Dreamer's run in WWE? He was not exactly respected as a wrestler. As a backstage agent, producer, whatever you want, sure, but as a wrestler, not so much. Anyway, name the tag team. What were John Cronus and Perry Saturn better known as? They were better known as the Eliminators. And I would do a Joey Styles impression here, but I just... no, I can't. I'm going to ruin my throat forever. What were New Jack and Mustafa Saeed best known as? They were better known as the Gangsters. Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock were the Public Enemy, doing all this shit and being the whitest rappers of all time. They were even whiter than me, and that's saying something. Lance Storm and Just Incredible were known as the Impact Players. And Little Guido and Tracy Smothers were the full-blooded Italians with all this business and lots of stereotypical American Italian stuff, even though none of them were... well, was Guido... either way, full-blooded Italians. One Night Stand. What year did the first One Night Stand event take place? That was in 2005. What was the main event? The main event was Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley versus Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman in what was probably the absolute pinnacle of the Sandman's career. His entrance to Enter Sandman by Metallica, with his opponent Bubba Ray standing on the top turnbuckle bellowing the lyrics out at the fans, who are also screaming the lyrics non-stop while Sandman smashes a can on his head. Literally peak Sandman. There is not a better moment in his career. Which 2 commentators were on the first One Night Stand? That was Joey Styles, who said a lot of things that are in hindsight not great, and Mick Foley, who is just not the best commentator. But Joey Styles saying things like he wished Mike Awesome had taken his own life, which he would then go on to do. Not great. The If Cena wins we riot sign comes from One Night Stand, but who was John Cena's opponent? That was none other than Rob Van Dam. Whole effing show, the whole fucking show, the Mr. Monday Night, all that good stuff. Edge leads a Mick Foley team for a 6-person intergender Extreme Rules match. Who are their opponents? Their opponents were the brilliant team of Tommy Dreamer, Terry Funk, and Beulah McGillicuddy. I seem to remember... no, I don't seem to remember. I'm thinking of a different match. I was about to mention Beulah with a DDT on a bloody as hell Bubba Ray, but obviously that wasn't that match. Either way, Funk, Dreamer and Beulah. WWECW. What was the opening match of the first WWECW episode? That was Sandman versus the Zombie. And that sounds as terrible as it was as terrible as it sounds. Who succeeded Paul Heyman as general manager? That was Armando Alejandro Estrada. Eventually, ECW wrestlers would become known as superstars like the rest of the roster, but what were they called prior to this in WWECW? They were exceptionally unfortunately known as extremists. Nope, not touching that one. Who was the final WWE ECW champion? That was Ezekiel Jackson. Who? Who did Vince McMahon defeat to win the ECW championship? He defeated Bobby Lashley. If you can imagine that. I seem to remember Umaga and Shane being involved, but Bobby Lashley. Entrance music. So, Walk by Pantera was used by Mr. Whole fucking show himself, Rob Van Dam. Perfect Strangers by Deep Purple was used by Shane Douglas. The best thing about Shane Douglas' entire career. Natural Born Killers by Dr. Dre and Ice Cube was used by New Jack, not only for his entrance, but throughout the duration of his matches. Brilliant. You could never do it nowadays, but brilliant. El Phantasmo and the Chicken Run Blastorama Wine, Women and Song Mix by White Zombie was used by Lance Storm, which I don't know why, but White Zombie and Lance Storm, there's a disconnect there. Anyway, Come Out and Play by The Offspring was used by my boy Raven.